Your laptop is hot from work. Not from games, not from a movie, from the code you've been writing for 3 weeks straight, forgetting to eat and rarely going outside. On the screen is an architecture. Not a virus, not a weapon, just a marketplace. You're sitting in a small apartment in Austin, Texas in 2010, and the only thing that sets you apart from a million other student programmers is an idea. One simple, absolutely insane idea. What if Amazon existed without rules? Your name is Ethan. You're 26. You have a physics degree from the State University. You've read your Mises and Hayek. You carry the confidence of someone who has never truly lost. And you have far too much free time since your organic mushroom farming startup collapsed faster than you could register the LLC. First lesson of entrepreneurship. Mushrooms grow slowly. Ideas grow faster. But failure doesn't stop you. It redirects you. You sit in that same apartment, plastic containers of spores still stacked in the corner, and you're not thinking about where to get money for groceries. You're thinking about why markets have borders at all. Why the state decides what can be sold and what cannot. Who gave it that right? And whether that right can be taken back, not by force, by code. Sometimes the most dangerous people are not criminals. They are idealists with access to a terminal. The first months are quiet and methodical. You build in layers. The Tor network encrypts traffic and hides IP addresses. No one knows where a request comes from. Bitcoin, barely a year old at the time, trading for less than $1 per coin, hides the money. No PayPal, no bank, no records. You connect them like two wires in the dark and wait for the spark. The site looks simple, almost suspiciously simple. Dark background, a pixelated desert image, a list of categories. The first seller is you yourself. The first product is a small quantity of psilocybin mushrooms left over from the failed startup. The first buyer appears 3 days later. Anonymous, pays in Bitcoin, leaves a review. You sit and stare at the transaction. $8.70 in Bitcoin, the smallest amount you've seen in the past year. And you feel something inexplicable. Not joy at the money, not relief, but something larger, proof. The math worked. A market without a state is possible. 6 months later, your platform, call it shadow market, is no longer your small experiment. It is a living ecosystem with its own laws. Hundreds of sellers from dozens of countries, thousands of products, from marijuana and MDMA to forged documents and rare chemicals. But the review system is stricter than anything on the mainstream internet. One bad review and you're banned for life. Sellers compete on reputation. Quality rises. You even introduced real hard rules. No weapons of mass destruction, no content involving children, no contract killings. You weren't building chaos. You were building an alternative order where the only judge is reputation and the only police is the market. You call yourself the Scarlet Captain, a faceless mask that could be passed to another. You write long posts about free will and the tyranny of laws. Thousands read you. They reply, argue, thank you. You gain administrators, moderators, a security team. You are governing a city that appears on no map. In real life, you look like an ordinary drifter in San Francisco, renting a room for $800 a month, going to yoga, paying in cash, smiling at your neighbors. None of them know that the person who asks them not to make noise after 10 is processing millions of dollars in transactions daily through an underground market that federal investigators have already flagged as a priority threat. The greatest mistake is not what you did. It's that you begin to believe in your own invisibility. The investigation starts quietly in 2011, almost by accident. One agent stumbles onto a mention of shadow market on a forum where users discuss dosages. Then a story breaks in a tech blog, and everything changes. Within a week, the headlines are everywhere. A senator goes before cameras and demands the site be shut down, along with the entire concept of anonymous digital currency. You read this on your laptop in a cafe and feel not fear, but something closer to pride. They noticed you. A name that doesn't exist is now being spoken in the Senate. That is the first crack, not in the system, in you. Pride is a blind spot. You stop checking details as carefully as before. You start believing the system you built is larger than any mistake you can make. The next 2 years are a chase in which one side doesn't know it has already lost. Shadow Market's turnover exceeds $1 billion. The site's commission, millions per month. Bitcoin grows alongside the market's reputation. Every new article about anonymous criminals inadvertently explains to readers what a decentralized currency is, and thousands of people open wallets out of curiosity. You have unintentionally become the greatest evangelist of the technology you believed in only as a tool. But traces always remain. An early post on a developer forum where you asked under your real name about network configuration the week before launch. An IP address that flashed unprotected once, just once. A server in Iceland rented on documents that turned out to be too easily traced. An administrator caught in Australia who talked more than he should have. Agents buy goods undercover. They trace chains of Bitcoin transactions. Slowly, transaction by transaction, because the blockchain is public, and if you stare at the numbers long enough, they start spelling out an address. Your address. You know none of this. In your encrypted diary, notes on the philosophy of freedom and plans for expansion. You're thinking about next year, October 2013, Tuesday, 2 in the afternoon. Glen Hollow Public Library in San Francisco. A quiet place with tall windows, the smell of old paper, and the steady hum of the air conditioning. You're sitting in the corner by the window. Laptop open. Connected to the administrative panel over public Wi-Fi. You do this often because the signal at home is sometimes unreliable. You're checking transactions, approving new sellers, answering a complaint about a delayed package. Two people start arguing at the next table. Loudly, pointlessly. A man and a woman, a quarrel about nothing, possibly staged. You glance up. A reflex, not a decision. A second, maybe two. That is enough. Agent Carla Reeves approaches from behind and in one motion pulls the laptop out from under your hands. Exactly at the moment it is open, unlocked, and connected. You manage to start rising, but there are already 5 out of people around you, and they don't look like readers. Someone pins your arms. Someone is already running toward the door with the laptop, not to steal it, but to stop you from pressing one key, shut down. One press of the button, and the entire encrypted drive becomes unreadable. They knew this. They had been planning it for months. The entire operation at the library was designed for those 3 seconds while the laptop was open. All the security, all the encryption, all the anonymous routing, all of it, gone the moment you glanced away at 2 actors with federal badges in their pockets. You are arrested calmly. No shouting, no weapons, almost no unnecessary words. The largest underground marketplace in the history of the internet fell in silence in a public library between shelves of children's books on a Tuesday, a sunny day. Outside, people are walking their dogs. On the laptop, everything. The administrative panel with full access, correspondence with suppliers, a file with your real name and address, an encrypted diary where you had recorded every decision and every doubt for years, and 144,000 Bitcoin in the account, worth roughly $28 million that day. 10 years later, that sum would become worth more than $1 billion. The trial was long. The sentence, 2 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole. The judge said she wanted to eliminate any chance of appeal. You heard this standing straight, but here is what remained after you. Beyond the verdict and the confiscated coins. Bitcoin, which in 2011 almost no one outside crypto-anarchist forums had heard of, became a household word after Shadow Market. Every article about the underground marketplace, and there were thousands, explained. There is a currency, decentralized, anonymous, outside state control. Journalists wrote about criminals and accidentally advertised the technology. Developers read and thought, if it can be used like that, it can be used differently. Investors who would never have paid attention to an abstract blockchain project suddenly saw this is a real economy, crude, illegal, but real and scalable. In December 2013, while the preliminary investigation was still ongoing, Bitcoin broke through $1,000 per coin for the first time. This was not a coincidence. Shadow Market gave cryptocurrency what no white paper could, proof of real demand. Millions of transactions, billions in circulation, a living market. You wanted to prove that a free market could exist without a state. You proved something else. that the technology you used as a tool of escape would become the foundation of a trillion-dollar industry. The encrypted diary recovered from your laptop contained a line written months before your arrest. "What we are building here is bigger than any one of us." You were right, only not in the way you imagined. Ethereum, DeFi, smart contracts, Web3. Each of these projects stands on the shoulders of the same idea you assembled from two wires in an Austin apartment: anonymous money plus an open network. The irony is this: you built a system to escape control and created a technology that governments around the world are now racing to regulate. You ran from the system and forced the system to run after you. Congressional hearings, central bank warnings, IMF reports, all of it is an echo of the code you wrote at night in a small apartment, forgetting to eat. You were sitting in a library between shelves of books while agents came through the door, and you didn't yet know that the laptop in your hands was not an ending. It was the moment after which the internet, money, and the concept of anonymity would never again be what they were before you. You wanted to change the market, you changed the world, just not in the direction you planned. Would you have stopped at 1 million or kept building? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more real stories like this, you know what to do.